What it do, y'all? It is your girl Des, and I am back again. We are here for episode number 4. Let me give myself a round of applause for episode number 4. I told y'all that I was going to stay consistent, and here I am, right? Before we get into episode number 4, I want you guys to be sure to subscribe to my channel. If you are here, you want to hear what I got to say, subscribe to my channel, baby. Why you over here trying to shack up with me? Don't shack up with me. Go ahead and make that commitment. Go ahead and make that commitment so that you will know the next time that I post a video, right? And you won't have to be worried about, did she keep her commitment to me? Did she post that video like she said she was going to do? I did. Did you? But you missed it. You missed it because you weren't subscribed, right? So go ahead and subscribe and make sure that you like the video. If you like what I have to say and you just hear and you just simply want to support, make sure that you like the video, okay? When you like the video, that lets YouTube know that I have something to say. And it's something good, okay? It's something that's going to feed your spirit, all right? Without further ado, we're going to go ahead and hop right into episode number 4, and I hope you guys enjoy. Stay tuned. All right, guys. So here we are, episode number 4. And I know that you guys already see by the title what we will be talking about in this episode. And so y'all know I like to talk y'all head off, so let's get right into it, right? So the name of this episode is called Sis, Set Those Boundaries. I feel like boundaries are imperative for you to have a healthy life, right? And if y'all see me continue to look down, I have my handy dandy notebook with me again on today, because I feel like this is a very important topic, and I have a few points that I want to really make sure that I get out there to you guys. But before we get into that, I just want to have like some real deal, like girl talk. Like, let's just talk real quick. All right, so I feel like the truth of the matter is, probably from the ages of 16 up until 25, I think that I had a series of raggedy relationships in my life, right? And it's not just solely because of the people that I was in relationship with, but it's because of the simple fact that I did not have boundaries set in place. And so there was really nothing there to protect myself in regards to those relationships, right? And that's the key point that I want to touch on, because I think that a lot of people think that boundaries are essentially for other people, when boundaries are not for other people. Boundaries are for you, right? Here, I go to the notebook, okay? I said that boundaries place a safety net on the person you're becoming, as well as your morals, values, and self-respect. Amen. Can we get an amen for that, okay? So boundaries, you set boundaries to essentially protect you, who you are becoming. That's the purpose of you setting boundaries, right? I know for me, I set certain boundaries because I'm trying to grow out of the person that I once was, right? So for me, I set boundaries so much so to the point to where I will not go so low with the person, right? Because the woman that I am becoming wouldn't appreciate me doing that, right? I will not allow you to speak to me in a certain way, and even in a certain tone, because the woman that I am becoming and the woman that I am right now deserves way more respect than that. You get what I'm saying? So certain things like that, certain boundaries like that, but it's gonna go way deeper, I promise. But certain little simple things like that are things that could essentially help you, right? Help you have a healthier life. Even if it's just, child, you know what? I need to stop eating these fried foods because I said I was trying to lose weight. I said the summertime coming. I'm trying to have this summertime body, but you have to set boundaries, baby. Boundaries. Say it with me. Boundaries. Okay. So I said that majority of the relationships that I was in, they began it on a high note. Right? It was cool. It was good. But within those relationships, I feel like those people, they studied me. And within each of those relationships, I feel like there were certain things that came about to where they tested my standards that I have for myself, as well as my boundaries, right? So I'm going to get real transparent with y'all, and we're going to have an honesty moment, right? So in relationships, I felt like I would be with the person, romantic relationships, and friendships. I feel like I would be in a relationship with them and they would say, okay, well, you know, she's a good person. She flawed a little bit, but she's a good person for the most part. You know, she'll rock out with you. And they get comfortable in that state, right? And they feel as though, well, she'll always be there. She'll always be here because she's loyal. She did, right? And so they may dip out of the relationship or go do other things or leave me, you know what I'm saying? Like, had me up here heartbroken, you know, because they feel like it was something else better out there for them, right? And then when that thing didn't work out the way that they thought that it would, they would try to run it back my way. But what is that doing? That's testing a boundary that I should have for myself, right? Because my self-worth, my self-respect, and the woman that I'm becoming and the woman that I am right now should have known that they do not deserve you anymore, right? Once you have abandoned me, once you have abandoned my heart, the woman that I am and the woman that I am becoming has a boundary set in place where you can no longer have access to me in that way, right? Even with friendships, they would get so comfortable with, knowing that, Destiny is this way or she's that way and she's going to be there. And I know that she cares for me. I know that she cares for my kids. So I can come back into place whenever I want to. But them coming back into place is not only a test of their character and a test of their boundaries, but it's a test of yours, because what are you going to do, right? This situation has happened. It placed you in a certain place. So now what are you going to do to protect yourself? I told you in the beginning that boundaries place a safety net on the person you're becoming, as well as your morals, values, self-respect, and your self-worth, right? Okay. I want you guys to understand that boundaries, we didn't just pull this word out of thin air, right? Everything that God has made has boundaries. So if you're made in his image, then you must have boundaries also, right? When God decided to create the earth, right, he had a space for the sun. He had a space for the moon. He had a space for the oceans. He had a space for the river. Everything is not running into each other. Why? Because there are boundaries set in place, right? God even set boundaries for himself, right? God wants nothing more but for us to be in relationship with him, but he's not going to force it either, right? God like, baby, listen, I'm here. You know what I'm saying? I want to be good to you, but if you don't really want that, I ain't going to force myself on you. I ain't going to do that. You know what I'm saying? There's certain boundaries that need to be in place, and I want you to understand that it is okay if you have been in a space to where you were broken. So boundaries sounded like a foreign word to you, because I was once in that space before too. I recently just got out of that space. I made a bullet point in here that I was in a space where I just wanted someone to choose me, right? So every time that guy would come back around, every time that friend would come back around, and I truly had love for them, but I was still in a broken space, I just wanted somebody to choose me again, so I allowed them back in. But what I was doing was essentially failing the test and allowing that person to think that they could treat me any way that they wanted to treat me, or that they could abandon me, or that they could disrespect me, and I would allow them back in. So that's not creating a safety space or a safety net for the woman that I am or the woman that I'm becoming. I'm letting folks run amok, okay? It's like, baby, you do me how you want to do me, and I'm gonna let you back in. We're not doing it, though. We're not doing that, and that is the purpose of me telling you, sis, set some boundaries, right? If you feel as though I give and give and give and I never receive, sis, it's time for you to set some boundaries. You need to set a boundary and say, you know what, I will not be in relationship with anything or anybody who I do not feel like reciprocates the energy that I give, reciprocates the love that I give, reciprocate the loyalty that I give. I will not be in relationship with anything or anybody. That goes for family, that goes for friends, that goes for the same guy that you've been off and on with for the last 10, 5, 3 years. I will not be in relationship with anything or anybody who has shown me that they cannot respect those boundaries. Because just like we said them, you got to know that God will allow the enemy to test us to see if we have really set those boundaries. I know another point that I had is sometimes people will neglect their boundaries that they do have because they want to stay in the positions that they're in, right? How many of us have neglected the boundaries that we do have? Like, you know what, I don't want to be with a man that's cheating on me, but you've been with him for the last 5 years and he cheated on you, and you feel like, you know what, I ain't invest all this into this relationship for him to be better for somebody else. So, nah, I'm going to stick this out, sis. You cannot feel like that position is more significant than the person that you're becoming. Because then you will be stuck in a cycle where you're not growing, right? Position is not more important than my purpose. I want you guys to understand that Love without boundaries will have you in a lifelong relationship, in a lifelong toxic friendship or relationship because you didn't set them, right? Love without boundaries to me is not healthy. And another thing that I want you guys to also understand is that when you begin to set boundaries with people who are accustomed to your boundaries being non-existent, that may cost you some relationships. It may cost you some relationship. It has costed me a few. Within the last 3 months, I think I've really cut off at least 2 relationships that were very significant to me because the woman that I'm becoming, baby, is calling me to set these boundaries. And if I feel like you're crossing them in any type of way, I must cross you out, right? Because my purpose is more important to me than the position that I play in your life. And if you cannot respect me enough to uphold the boundaries that I've set for myself to become the best woman that I can be, then you don't need to have a position in my life, right? Okay. And I also want you guys to understand this is that the beautiful thing about the God that we serve is that you can always lay down. You can always lay down the crown of what you used to be, right? So when I told y'all in the beginning that I just wanted somebody to choose me, and in me wanting somebody to choose me, that is what basically prompted me to not create any boundaries, right? Because I was so scared that if I said something that somebody didn't necessarily agree with or tell them I needed to be treated in a certain type of way that they didn't agree with, they would leave. Me growing now is me understanding and knowing is that if they leave, they were meant to leave, right? They were meant to leave. Like I said in my previous videos, this is your movie and you decide who has the leading roles in it, right? And if you're not all the way healed, you will attract people who aren't all the way healed as well, and it will stunt your growth. So that's why it's very important for you to set boundaries for yourself. That way it'll make it a little bit easier for you to set boundaries for other people. Right? Hello. Okay. That's what that was another point that I had, that you have to be willing to lose certain positions in people's lives when you set these boundaries, right? Your self-worth and boundaries have to mean more to you than the position that you play in a person's life. That's just period. And another thing that I want to touch on is sometimes you have to give up being relevant to be authentic. Right? I was watching Pastor Sarah Jakes Roberts before I started this video, because I was essentially studying for the video. And I will link the episode down below that I was watching, because I think that the name of it was called Boundaries and Becoming, right? And so she just placed a lot of relevance on, I think it was Esther chapters 2 through 4. And it was a young woman in there, and she was asked to do something that was overstepping boundaries for herself, right? She was asked to do something that she didn't feel like was morally correct, right? And she told one of the kings no. And I think at the time she may have been a queen. Don't quote me, but she told him no. Now this was something that was worthy enough for her to die for, right? Her telling this man no, she could have died for that. That would have been the consequence for that. I think that she said in the sermon that he wanted her to come out amongst everyone with just her crown on, which means she would be completely naked. And she told him no, absolutely not. She wouldn't do that, right? She was only spoken about in those few chapters in the Bible, but in that moment, she gave up the option of being relevant versus being authentic. Her coming out and she wasn't clothed was not something that was authentic to her. It wasn't something that she wanted to do. It was out of the boundaries that she had set for herself. So she said no. Setting boundaries are going to cause you to have to tell some people no that are used to you telling them yes. And that's how you will really be able to determine whether or not you have a real friendship, you have a real relationship. It's when you have to tell those people that you're always saying yes to no. Right? Boundaries are important, guys. Boundaries are a way to ensure that you're living a healthy life. You have to have boundaries for yourself and for others. And remember, boundaries are not just for other people. Boundaries are for you. Boundaries are for you to create that safety net around yourself to protect the woman that you are becoming and the woman that you are now, to protect your self-worth, to protect your self-respect, to protect your morals and your values. That is what you're setting boundaries for, okay? Do not continue to let people drag you because you have not set boundaries for yourself. So they feel as though it's okay for them to run amok in your life, because it's not. So I challenge you guys today to sit down and really think of some things within your life, or some areas in your life where you feel as though you can set some boundaries, or you should set some boundaries. And I can almost guarantee you that you will see the difference. You will see the difference, and you will feel the difference in your life. Don't be so worried about that position with other people that you're willing to risk the person that you're becoming, or you're willing to risk your purpose, right? Don't be so concerned with that. The people that are supposed to be there and supposed to be in your life, they will be there. They'll be there before you set the boundaries, and they'll be there when you set the boundaries, just simply because of the respect and the love that they have for you, right? So y'all know that I'm not going to hold y'all too long. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I want you guys to be sure that you subscribe and you like the video. If you've gotten this far within the video, please be sure that you like the video, okay? When you like the video, it tells YouTube she got something to say, okay? She done said something good. A couple folks like this video. Let's keep it rolling, okay? Let's keep it rolling. Please feel free to comment down and let me know, sis, you know what? She was right about that. He was right about that. I set some boundaries in my life. Baby, I had to set a boundary in my life, y'all, and this is just something real simple, right? I used to be up to 2, 3 o'clock in the morning on TikTok, laughing and eating snacks, okay? Knowing I had to get up in the morning to go to work. I told myself, listen, you're going to put that phone down and you're going to lay down, okay? A fry and a nugget, you're going to lay down, okay? And that's just what I had to do, all right? That's what I had to do, but I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. I thank y'all so much for supporting me, okay? Hear me when I said it. I thank y'all so much for supporting me. And y'all be good, period. Have a great rest of y'all week. See you later. Bye.